This is where passion meets positivity and optimism. In a world where bad news abounds, You Are Solid Gold with Michele Lau celebrates the good in our lives and the beauty in the hidden gems around us. Welcome to You Are Solid Gold. Here she is, international television host and QVC jewelry expert, Michele Lau.
Welcome back to You Are Solid Gold with Michele Lau. Well, one of my favorite people, especially in the world of success, is in the studio here today. Morgan Overholt is here. I invited Morgan back. We recently did an episode on what it's like to transition, coming up with a plan if you're unhappy in your current job. But I invited her back because she has developed a blog featuring the Smoky Mountains, which I also love and have a passion for. Morgan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be back. I want to be like your most frequented guest. I want to punch my punch card once again.
I think we could do something just about every week, you and I. No kidding.
Perfect.
Well, and one of the things that's fascinating about you is something I've actually been toying with, and that is the idea of a blog. How would you explain what you do?
I call it a glorified blog, to be honest with you. I think that's probably the best description of it. A glorified regional blog is the most accurate description of what we do. To give a little bit of history about myself, for those that didn't listen to the prior podcast, I am a freelance graphic designer by trade. I'm a full-time freelance graphic designer. I run a small remote agency out of Tennessee and Miami, Florida. I kind of split my time in both areas. I employ other contractors that work under me for my primary Working Media LLC agency. And last year, we decided to start dipping our toes into yet another business, something that made sense for the skill sets that we already had. And that ended up being an opportunity to run the Smokies.com. So it was pretty exciting. We'd actually never run a blog before. It was an agreement between my husband, who's a programmer, myself, and my little sister, who also works with me at Morgan Media. Between the three of us, we had skill sets of programming. We had graphic design, we have writing, because we also have journalist backgrounds. So we knew that a blog would probably be something that was in all of our wheelhouse. But with that said, we'd never actually ran a successful blog before. And so we were very much going into the wild, wild west, but there we went. And I got to tell you, it's quite amazing the things we figured out. When I was just starting out, I was so frustrated with how many articles we'd Google, how to make a successful blog. And you have all this stupid advice, like write interesting things. You're like, really? I need to write interesting things. Well, thank you, Sherlock. I really appreciate that, Captain Obvious. And the thing is that I prefer to give real, honest, actionable advice, because the truth is running a blog isn't easy, but there are way more actionable items than I find that a lot of these so-called experts will really offer online. And hopefully that's something that I can kind of share with you and your viewers and listeners today.
Thank you for being so generous about it too, because a lot of people, it's very proprietary. They're very closed about it. Like, that's why I say it's like this mysterious thing and you don't know where to begin. So I appreciate that. So by the end of this next 20 or 30 minutes, you're going to have a tangible plan if you had wanted to start a blog yourself. And I love these how-to pieces. How do we get from 0 to 1 million, hits in a blog in under a year? Let's set that goal. Let's say, or even, 2 years. You said it so it's realistic for you. So is that where you would begin? Would you begin with, setting realistic expectations?
So yes and no, right? So here's the really funny part. I'm going to pull up my analytics here in a minute so I can give you the real numbers about how far that we've come. When you're first starting out in business, look, it's great to have a great business plan, but and the advice I'm about to give, if I have any kind of business coaches or, professionals listening in right now, I'm sure they're about to say that's horrible advice, but hear me out. I've now started 2 successful businesses doing things this way. And it's the way I personally prefer to do them. I prefer to run my businesses and start my businesses like the saying goes, how you eat an elephant. I do it one bite at a time. I don't worry about whether or not I can digest the whole elephant. I just hit little milestones. And so for me, every time I go out to start a new business, the main goal that I have is to make sure the business is sustainable, that it can pay me and that it can pay itself. And I don't need to become rich off the business. I just need to, be able to afford the basics. And that's always where I like to start, because if your business isn't sustainable and it isn't capable of funding itself after so long, because of course that won't happen, in the beginning, you have to kind of, fund it like a little baby. You got to kind of, no little baby pops out and it's like, hey mom, I'm ready to go to college. You got to care for it a little bit,
and reinvest as you go, right?
Reinvest as you go.
Yes.
But so with that in mind, yes, I do think you should start out with a goal, but I definitely wouldn't make it something as lofty as saying I'm going to hit 1 million hits this year. Now, we did hit 1 million hits in the first year. We've actually had in a little bit over a year, and I'm looking at January 1st, 2020, even though it really wasn't, we didn't really have anything up then, but it was a website, to now. And we have had 2.1 million users,
Wow.
2.9 million sessions, and 3.5 million page views. And that's just in a little over a year. Because we really
fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
We officially launched in April. Yeah, thank you. That is honestly, those numbers blow my mind. Like I don't know. But I would really credit that to like just knowing what people are looking for, honestly. But those numbers are absolutely mind blowing to me that we were able to achieve that in just a little bit over a year.
But at the very heart of everything, once you strip it all away, it's really all about serving the customer, isn't it? It's about finding the right topic and finding the right episodes that serve the customer well. So once you do that and you build your base, then all the other doors open.
Yes, exactly. At the end of the day, it is all about the other person. It is not about you, period. I mean, even the people who clicked on this link today, I guarantee you, especially if they're first-time listeners to the podcast, who have heard of either one of us before, they didn't click on it to hear me fast talk. That's not why they clicked on this link today. They clicked on it because they saw a title about how to get 1 million hits in your blog, and they thought, ooh, how do I make that happen for me? You always have to think about what serves the person listening, what serves the person reading, what do they want? And if you run your business that way, I don't care if you're blogging or doing something else, you're going to be successful in the long run. Persistence and always thinking about your customer and what they want.
I agree. Did you ever anticipate that in 1 year you would be at that place? No. I mean, that's not why we do it. I think if you do something just for that, you'll never succeed, but you do it because of your passion for, the great Smoky Mountain area. I know that.
I'm really blunt with people. I wouldn't do it if it was just spreading the word. I mean, I want to make money. I'm a businesswoman and I'm not afraid to say that. I think a lot of us, especially when you see other people, influencers and other people interviewed and stuff, that they're like, oh, it's just a passion project. And I wish I was just as I wish I was as good of a person as Dolly Parton and can say it's all altruistic. But the thing is, I want to make money. I am a businesswoman. It was a topic I'm passionate about, sure. But if I didn't think I could make money and get eyeballs, I would not have done it.
All right, let's talk about how to monetize. How would you do it? How does it happen?
Okay. So this is so very important. Of course, everyone, when they think about monetization, ads comes to mind right away. And that is the number one way that we still make money today, even though we've also introduced the affiliate model as of late. But ads are likely one of the first ways you're going to be able to monetize. And there are a variety of ways to do so. Obviously, the simplest way to do it is get display ads. But that requires a lot of, knocking on doors and cold calls and selling ads, which is a really difficult thing to do. But it doesn't require any kind of minimal traffic or anything like that. But here's where you're really going to start to make serious money. All right, listen up, kids. You need to apply for ad exchange programs. The easiest one to get in on is Google AdSense, just Google's native, ad program. We were only on that for like 30 days before we qualified for one of the big guys and made a total of $300. We were super excited to have made that $300. Yes. Now, unfortunately, they also have one of the lowest payouts in the entire market. So it's a great thing to be on AdSense, because it's what your other bigger guys are going to be looking at to see your effectiveness on that kind of a program, and it will help you get into the other programs. But what you really need to be looking at are two programs. Mediavine and AdThrive are the two programs that you need to be looking at. These are two of the biggest players in the ad exchange game. They also work with Google Ads and Google AdSense, but they are able to get you premiums because they only accept blogs that have a minimum traffic number. Mediavine at this current time, I believe they're taking only blogs that receive, I think it's either 50 or 55,000 hits every single month. All right. So that can be your real goal starting out, because
that
to
sounds
get
like a good
monetized by a
goal.
big guy, start out at 55,000 hits every single month, or page views, or I think they look at sessions, technically sessions every single month. And then you could probably get into Mediavine. It's a great company. To give you an idea, the month that we switched over from AdSense and made our whole whopping $300 and went over to Mediavine, we instantly improved that to $2,000. By the time we left Mediavine, we were making closer to $5,000 a month. Now we're on AdThrive. It is even bigger. AdThrive is even pickier. They will only take people who have a minimum of 100,000 sessions at the time of this podcast, 100,000 sessions per month. But if you're able to get in that very exclusive club, and they estimate that only under 3,000 blogs in the entire world are able to get into this program, but it's definitely something you want to strive for. And our biggest month on AdThrive, we've made over $14,000 on the blog.
Oh, congratulations, Morgan.
Thank you. On just ads alone, which is pretty awesome. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not like a super rich woman. I don't have a yacht. All right. Like I still believe that yachts are a lot of work anyway, from what I understand. So I'm not sure it's even a goal of mine. But we still pour 90% of our money back into the business, because we are really invested in the growth. And we do so by hiring more freelance writers, constantly improving the website. We have purchased some ads in the past to help us grow. So yeah, we don't even pocket most of that money. It sounds like a big number, but we're more focused on like how big can we make this thing go right now. The other ways you can make money are through affiliate marketing. And that's another really great thing. We don't make quite as much money on affiliate marketing right now as we do ads, but we do make money. Programs that are really great for affiliate marketing are cj.com. So for instance, and I need to back up. So affiliate marketing, if nobody knows what that is, it is more like when you're helping promote an item. That can be you're promoting an Amazon product. Like every time you've ever typed in, gifts for Father's Day, and you see a blog article pop up, these 20 gifts are great for Father's Day. And if you click on any of their products, it's going to take you to their special affiliate Amazon link, and they get a small commission off of anything sold. So we do that for like ticket sales and attractions and that kind of stuff. So like we'll write a review about an attraction, and we'll say, hey, if you want to buy here, click here, and they click on our link, and we earn a little commission if that's how they get the sale. So programs that we use for that are cj.com. It's one of our absolute favorites. They have some of the best commissions in the industry. We also use tripster.com. That's all right. Their commissions are quite a bit smaller, but it's pretty easy to get the sales. Those at this time are kind of our two favorites. We also use a website called Viator, but we've not really been able to make a ton of money on that. So I'm not exactly sure that'd be the top of my promotion list at the moment. But yeah, I would strongly suggest that people look at affiliate programs for your specific niche, just because we're more that regional travel. Those are kind of the ones that work for us. CJ, I know, has a lot of different niches in there, so that's probably a big one for you to look at. Now, also, a lot of these programs, they will require you have a certain number of hits every single month. I wouldn't suggest applying for any of the ad exchange programs or any of the affiliate programs when you're just getting started. So when you talk about setting goals and you've got your eye on monetization, you really need to start thinking about, okay, how do I quickly ramp up to 50,000 sessions every single month? Then how to ramp up to 100,000 sessions every single month? Because when you hit those two major milestones, that is what will allow those doors to open up for you, and then ultimately start making money doing your blog.
I really appreciate the fact that you're so open with our viewers about how you did this. Not everybody is so transparent about it. So take me on a step-by-step kind of journey, high level. We don't have to dig into the details about how you got it done.
So basically, when we were first starting, one of the things that we really knew that we wanted to do was identify that audience. I talk about this a lot because you and I share that background in home shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny how much you learn when you've been on air in that high stress sales environment from the home shopping world, and how you can apply that to everything else. But number one, your audience is absolutely key. So you've got to define the audience and know that they're going to be interacting with you, whether that means making a sale, like in the world of retail, or making a click, like in the world of blogging. So you need to make sure that your product is something that can get in front of their eyeballs, that the audience exists, and also it's something that they are genuinely interested in. And so that's where you have to start first, by identifying an audience. A lot of people say, oh, you need to go with your passion. I say pick something that you like, but also pick something that there's an audience for, because there's lots of things you like. Some things be more popular than others. And if you want to make money off of this, and it's perfectly fine to have a blog for passion. If you don't want to make any money, that's great. You write about whatever, Harry Pickles, if you want to, whatever you want to write about, you just write about it. But if you want to make money, You need to pick an actual, interesting topic that the audience exists for. We knew the Great Smoky Mountains and the national park and the surrounding areas was a massive topic. That area gets $1 billion of revenue every single year and growing. It is the most visited national park in all of the United States, with I think 12 million visitors even last year in 2020, which is just absolutely spectacular. And we also knew that other blogs in the area were able to thrive and get an incredible amount of traffic. So we knew that that was really going to be key for us and something that we could speak to. I mean, I grew up almost in the foothills of the park anyway. I mean, I grew up just one town over in this little town in Morristown, Tennessee. I spent all my summers going to Dollywood and the park and going to all the local attractions. And that was really something that I could speak to, as a local, as somebody who experienced it as a child, who still, frequents today as a grown up. And my husband and my sister were the same. My husband is a Newport, Tennessee boy. So I mean, we could really genuinely relate to it. So that it kind of fit that niche. Identify your audience, know how to speak to them, and also something that you can relate to and speak directly to. So that was absolutely number one for us. All right. So identify the audience.
Thank you. Number one, identify the audience. Okay. So we got it. We know where our passion is.
Yeah.
And we know who the audience is.
That needs to be done before you do anything technical. And this is the absolute truth, because they always come to me, especially knowing my background in graphic design, saying, okay, well, I need a logo and I need this fancy website. And I'm just like, but do you know what you're going to do? And you don't have to have like a full on, this is all the details of what I'm going to do. But if you can't answer who your people are and how you're going to be marketing to them, then don't even mess with the rest of the stuff. All right. But after you do that, and after you know that you've got a decent idea, then you can get the basics in. You need to have a basic logo. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Don't overthink it. In fact, simple logos often look more professional than overdone logos.
I
That's
couldn't
the
agree
absolute
more.
truth.
Mm-hmm.
You look at any high-end brand, and this is something as a graphic designer I argue with my clients about all of the time, because they want like bells and whistles in their logo. No, most nationally recognized brands, most high-end brands, it is typography for the most part, maybe with a spot color here and there. And it's kind of what you want to do, I personally think, to just look professional. So you don't have to even spend a ton of money on it. It's perfectly fine. All right, guys. So get your logo, a basic website. I highly recommend WordPress. WordPress is very much the industry standard for bloggers. Yes, there are other options, and yes, you can be profitable in other options. I'll never say that everything else is terrible and this is the way to go, but it is the best way to go in my opinion, because it is scalable. And easy to monetize with most of the ad exchange programs. Because if you do get to the point where you hire other programmers or contractors to help you out with your blog, whether it be writing or proofing or adding on plugins or whatever it is, they're going to be comfortable and familiar with WordPress because it is that industry standard. It's like the Photoshop of graphic design. So you'll definitely kind of want to go there.
Morgan just saved you a lot of time, by the way, because yes. I have to tell you what, I've had this discussion so many times with so many different people, and it all comes back to WordPress. So without spending hours on it, because we could talk hours about how to build a website. Maybe that's something else that we can talk about at another time. Morgan, by the way, I just wanted to insert here, is also available for coaching. So we're going to give you access to how to reach Morgan and her Patreon account and how to get the coaching that you need to get this done. So we'll do that as we go periodically through.
Well, the other thing I want to make sure that I mentioned about the website, because this is absolutely key in the beginning, make sure that your website is very simple. This is a crazy tip that once again will save you so much time. We did not do this in the beginning and we misunderstood how important that it was. There's something out there called Core Web Vitals. Let's say it with me. Core Web Vitals. And they are so important. This is what Google looks at to determine your ranking. They want to make sure that your website is lightning speed fast and that it's something that actually works well. And if you have a website with 1 million plugins on it and a bunch of, outsourced, non-simplified JavaScript and CSS and all this stuff, your website's going to be drugged down. You can actually just type in Google Web Core Vitals into google.com and the website will pop up to allow you to test your website and see how fast it is. You want to make sure that you were in the green with a 90 or above score on all of your web pages. And this is going to set you apart from your competition, because as of this summer, literally as of right now, as we speak, summer of 2021, Google is actually rolling out a brand new update that's going to put even more importance on Core Web Vitals, which means the slower websites are going to start to take them down in the rankings, and their faster websites are going to start to push them up. And the theme of your website, when you're building that website, that is that accounts for 95% of the speed and efficiency of your platform. So you've got to choose a lightweight theme. Focus on speed. Don't focus on bells and whistles. Focus, simplicity and speed is what you need. And you can do your research on that when you're picking out your templates. You can tell your programmer that's of utmost importance. You can check it using the Google Core Web Vitals tool on google.com. But that is an absolutely core thing that you do when you're starting your website. And we didn't know that. We had to redo our website twice, Michelle, because we didn't know that. All right.
It's so expensive and completely. It's so time consuming. That is a golden nugget.
I just saved you thousands of dollars in weeks.
Yeah, she did. No doubt.
All right. So don't worry about too much about like the silly stuff, like the domain name or like the name of your company or what have you. Because really your biggest audience, they don't make it crazy long or too hard to spell either, but most of your audience ideally it's going to come from clicks like on Facebook or SEO. You're not going to have a lot of people who just type it in, directly or hear about it from word of mouth. So don't spend too much time worrying about the silly things. Focus more about how to actually get those users to click on your website, which brings me to the next point. How do you determine topics to write about? All right. So once again, so you have to think about that audience. We have never said, this is what I want to write about. We say, what do they want me to write about? And then I do that. I make my product fit the audience. And that is so very important because it's so much easier to find somebody who's like, hey, do you want to go see, XYZ movie this weekend? Be like, yeah, I want to go see XYZ movie this weekend. Let me take you to XYZ movie versus me saying, I don't think you should see that movie. I think you should go into this movie you've never heard about. We should go to this movie. You see, it's much easier to go with the flow of what they already want to do and facilitate that movement and help them get to that movement. It's just, you're not fighting with anybody. You're not fighting the current, and you can fulfill that need and get to where you want to be much quicker if you do.
So how do you do that? How do you come up with topics that people want to hear about?
Okay, so there are a couple of different methods. So first of all, there are two really major industry standard tools that a lot of SEO experts use. And remember, when we first went into this, my husband and I, we thought we knew SEO, right? Like being tech people that we are.
Changing all the time.
We thought SEO, what does everybody think SEO is, right? Like a bunch of keywords that you scatter in on your website. SEO is like being on the front page of Google, or it's like buying AdWords or putting money, into Google. And real SEO is not any of that. I've talked to people who sell SEO services who don't understand what SEO is. And it is completely crazy. It's not even that difficult to learn. As soon as somebody pulls the curtain back for you, you're like, oh, wow, that's actually is very quantifiable, very actionable. It's not like a secret weapon. It's not anything crazy. So there are two tools that I'm going to tell you about today. We actually use SEMrush, and you can just go to semrush.com. There's another one called Ahrefs, and it's hrefs.com, I believe. I can get you this actual links to be sure. But they do very similar things, and they will basically help you not only track your traffic, they will tell you what key phrases and what keywords are performing best for you, what people are actually clicking on, what they're actually engaging in, and also even suggest key phrases and show you the volume and traffic that your competitors are receiving. So if you type in like a competitive website or somebody who blogs about a similar topic, you can see kind of what's working for them and what's not working for them. So that's one of the ways that we do a lot of research about, our competitors and topics. We use those tools and track our blogs and track our success rate with using that. And that's absolutely invaluable. And it does all sorts of other really cool things too. Like you can disavow backlinks. Most people don't know this either. I had no idea, but if you have like a really old website, and by really old, I mean like it's been on the internet for more than a couple of years. If your website's been out there, like for instance, the Smokies.com did exist technically before we bought it. There was no website up on it. It literally, if you went to it was just a 404 error, like it didn't exist. But yet, because it was a common domain name, people were linking to it from malicious websites. And you can use a tool like SEMrush to disavow those. And they help you disavow the links by basically saying, hey, look, I don't know what website, I don't know why they're linking to me, I disavow. And the more things you do like that, once again, the higher up your rank will be by using a tool like SEMrush to help you like improve the overall health and well-being of your website.
No, I don't want you guys to gloss over. I don't want you to get lost in this and think, oh, this is too much for me to do. She's delving in a little bit deeper here on this because a lot of people are struggling with SEO right now. And I think this is such incredibly valuable information. So Morgan, you and I talked about having you back regularly, and I would love to do that. I think that we could again spend a whole nother half an hour at some point talking about SEO, and we still would only scratch the surface of SEO, but it's not magical. It's something we can do, right? It's something we can handle.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing. We were talking about topic research a moment ago. The big difference maker on topic research is, and you don't even need any money for this because SEMrush and Ahrefs, they just require a paid subscription. You can just go to google.com and literally let autocomplete tell you what people are looking for. One of my absolute favorite tricks to do, and I harp on SEO so much because it is the make or break for any blog out there. We will do something like, is Smoky Mountains? And then we'll see what it auto-completes. How Smoky Mountains, how Pigeon Forge, what Gatlinburg, and see what Google tells me other people are looking at. Then I will find those topics. My favorite topics are the ones that nobody else writes about because I know they are not competitive at all. And I can swoop right in there and be at the top of the list on Google and get all the clicks for that search phrase. And that's how we do 90% of our research.
This is a huge, huge thing. To be able to get to the top of the SEO search, to be able to be the one that pops up in a search like that, you can't buy, well, you can buy it.
Right. So yeah, you could like buy AdWords and target AdWords if if you're a retailer, that might make sense to do so, right? But you're just still buying that sponsored spot. You're not buying it. Exactly. It's not going to improve your organic ranking. And SEO is about search engine optimization. So really, when you're just buying ads, it's something completely different than actually optimizing your website for search. And I think it's also a really important thing to kind of delineate. And then if I were, and I don't want to go too far over on time. Do I have a little bit more time to talk?
I could talk to you all day. You take as long as you want.
Really important thing, like a Jedi move that no one ever told us until we were kind of rocking and rolling. The way you format your articles is also extraordinarily important. And this is something that nobody talked to us about either. You know, like I said at the beginning of this, a lot of the generic advice online, when you Google how to have a successful blog, they're like, write great content. And they don't talk about the technical things that you need to be doing when you write that content, right? It's not helpful at all. You need to make sure once you've got that topic that you do need to have all the common keywords that surround that topic to make sure that Google sees you as relevant. But every single post that you write needs to be a minimum of 700 words, a minimum. And the longer, the better, actually, on posts. I've seen posts up to 5,000 words, which is almost like a small book, be quite successful. I can tell you from firsthand experience, because I also blog for other companies like Business Insider and Collective.com. They all expect your blogs to be about 1,500 to 2,000 words. So that's really what these big publishers and what Google is looking for. So a minimum of 700, ideal is 1,500, the more the better. And that will essentially improve your ranking instantly. Your title, though, is the complete opposite. The title of your, and this is the same for vlogs and everything, podcasts and regular blogs, the title needs to be under 70 characters if you can manage it. Every time we write a title, we try to make it match the Google key phrase as closely as you possibly can without using horrible grammar. I'm okay with letting a little poor grammar slide. I like clicks, but as long as it's not horrific. Sometimes people are like, your grammar's terrible. And I'm just like, I like clicks. I'll let slip slide if I have to.
That's hilarious.
But it needs to be under 70 characters. Just use wordcount.com or whatever that you need to use to make sure that you're keeping your character count low. And then your slug needs to be the exact same. I know people are wondering what a slug is. It is what comes after the slash, right? So if it's the smokies.com/coupons or something like that, that's the slug. Coupons is the slug. Or if you want to have like Cade's Cove, you want that to be your slug. And those are the key phrases you're really targeting. To be the smokies.com/Cade's-Cove. And you need to separate words out with a little hyphen. The slug needs to match the key phrases. The key phrases need to appear exactly as they are in your title. The title needs to be less than 70 characters. Y'all are welcome. That little piece of information alone is absolute downright gold. It was such a game changer. And here's the sad thing. We still today are having to go back and fix articles that we had no idea we were doing on. It had like 100 character headlines and were short and didn't have a lot of information and had horrible long slugs like this/is/a/great. So I mean, like slugs that were like this long on our website addresses. So we're still going back and trying to fix all of our errors. But if you start out doing the right things, oh my gosh, it's so much different. It's so much better. And you're going to save yourself so much time in the long run.
Wow. This is solid bits of golden information that is going to save us so much time and so much money. Speaking of money, let's say that all I want to do is I just want to write. I don't want to have to be responsible for putting the whole thing together. Are there companies, and maybe you do this, I don't even know. Are there companies that will manage a blog for you or that will put it together for you? Can you find them easily out there?
I mean, here's the thing, you know, if you're going to be a blogger and you really want to make money, you need to do it yourself. And that's the honest to goodness truth. You know, it's kind of like you need to treat it like any other company. Now, you can hire help, but you need to view yourself as a business owner. You can't say, all right, I'm going to start a business, but you manage it. You really need to be the boss of your own business.
Okay.
Now, if you need to hire writers, that's perfectly fine. We actually we employ a couple of freelance writers to help us out because we turn out content every single day. We publish a minimum of 7 articles every single week. And that's in addition to our other obligations because it's not even something that we manage full time. So if you need to hire some extra freelance help to help you fill in those blanks, you know, or some extra freelance help to help you with the technical aspects of a website, right? Not everybody is married to a computer programmer. And I also have quite a technical background. My college degree is actually also in computer science. I have the exact same degree as my husband. It's where we met, fun fact. So I'm able to kind of get my hands dirty, even though I don't do a lot of coding today. I'm able to do most of it myself. And if I get stuck, I have him help me out because myself and my sister are equal partners on the LLC that is the Smokies.com LLC. And so we're able to kind of help each other out that way. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help. And there are definitely freelancers that'll do that. To answer your question, are there people out there who will help you run your blog? Sure. But will they care for it as much as you probably care for yourself? Probably not.
Probably not. So if we say we need some coaching, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for help. So
no,
we are able to hire you to coach us if we choose.
Yes.
How do we go about that?
Yeah, so I'm on Patreon and I can give you the link for the Patreon, or you can just look up Morgan Overholt Coach on Patreon. It should pop right up. My link is also on the website, morganoverholt.com. And I just set that up and it's really affordable, guys, too. I mean, I have tiers on there that are like less than $5 a month where you can just kind of, you know, see some of my more exclusive advice. I've got, you know, I've got options on there to have personal, you know, one-on-one sessions. So definitely take a look at that. I set that up because I get that request a lot. People want to talk to me about specific situations. And so I wanted to be able to kind of address that more effectively. Because to tell you the truth, Michelle, especially because I know my experience with graphic design and now with the blog, they always come to me thinking, oh, well, I want you to design a logo for me, or I want you to build my website. And, you know, sure, occasionally I'll still take those projects on, but that's not what's going to make you successful just because you hired me to set up a skeleton website for you. What really is going to make you successful is the day-to-day actions that you take to make your business successful. And I really find that personally, the best contribution that I can make to anybody starting their own business, whether it be freelance or blogging or whatever it is telling them about the mistakes that I made, the good things that I did, and telling them what to look out for. It's the advice. That's the most valuable thing that I can offer. And honestly, it shouldn't even be that expensive. I think advice should, you know, I wish it could all be free. Unfortunately, I do have to make a living. So beyond just simple advice, I do. That's why I set the Patreon, you know.
Well, we're going to see if we can't steal you away periodically to give us a few more of these nuggets. Yes. Again, you are a wealth of knowledge and so much bigger than when I met you. You know, you've just blossomed into this incredible businesswoman. I'm just so proud of everything you've been able to achieve. So yes, go check her out. And if you need advice, go for it. But I could not agree with you anymore, Morgan. If you're going to start something, whether it be a blog or a podcast or, you know, a YouTube channel, whatever it is, take the time to learn the process. Appreciate it so much, you know, being able to be in the trenches and to actually learn what I'm doing. So eventually when you do get big enough and you are hiring help, you'll be able to speak intelligently to whatever it is. So anyway, yes, exactly. Really good, solid bits of advice. You really are a solid gold friend, and I wish you all the best success in the world. Until we get together again, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you so much for having me again. I really appreciate it.
All right, everybody, now get out there and shine, and we'll see you next time on You Are Solid Gold.
Thank you for joining us on You Are Solid Gold. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Would you please subscribe, like, and share this episode? If you know of a person, place, or thing that is a hidden gem that we should feature on Solid Gold with Michele Lau, please submit it for consideration at hello@youaresolidgold.com. Now, get out there and shine.